positive are you making your own life? Are you living in the news? Are you getting caught up in the negativity, the closing of the stores, the opening of the stores, the can't make in your mind, the wearing a mask, the not wearing a mask? Then you're at the right place, because today we're telling positive stories to put a smile back on your face. So thank you so much for tuning in. I am Deb Meyer, CEO of OdorXit, where we make your life smell fresh. Today we're going to make your ears hear fresh. So please hit the subscribe button at the bottom. We would love to have you subscribe to our channel. That'll get you notified of any new videos as we post them here on YouTube. And I've asked, I would ask you to tell your positive story down here in the comments on YouTube, and we'll tell them. We'd love to hear what's happening positive in your life. And I didn't get any stories this week, so what I had to do was go to Google and find positive stories of my own. So I've got nobody shared with me. I've had some shares over the course of our renovation of the mind here. So, but not this week. So I'm making stuff up. Well, I'm not making stuff up. I'm finding other people's happy stories and relaying them to you so that you will have a smile on your face during the week. Okay, so where I am in Ohio, they are slowly opening up life again as we knew it so many days ago. That's what it seems like, huh? And, it's this way all over the world. Some are shut in longer, but one of the news stories I wanted to say is there was a little 4-year-old girl who'd been locked away from grandma for 10 weeks. 10 weeks. And grandma came to visit her after the alarm had turned off and they were allowed to go visit family members again. And when grandma got to the end of the driveway, the little girl just ran and ran and ran her little heart out into grandma's arms and was so, so happy to see her. And of course, grandma was pretty happy to see her too. My neighbors keep saying how they miss their grandkids. They want to hug their grandkids. I've had a couple neighbors get a coffee cup with the grandkids' pictures on it. Not the same thing, but the kids were thinking of them. So they're a little happier. But now here in Ohio, it is breaking up a little bit. So they had dinner with the whole family this weekend, and this is my neighbors. And all 3 kids were home, all 3 kids with their families, their kids, their girlfriends. That one didn't have any kids. And they had a great meal together, and Ashley I asked if they hugged, but they didn't really say. But I'm just curious, so I'd be hugging them. And actually, my birthday was yesterday, so we are having a birthday dinner this weekend. Haven't seen my family for this whole time, so I'm anxious to find out if I'm going to get hugs. So we'll see. Another positive story, and I don't see anybody writing in anything down here, so be sure and share your positive stories here in the comments section on YouTube. I'm assuming it's there just when you log in. Little comment section down below. Here's another story I found. There was an 8-month-old who had a lot of health concerns, very sensitive to the COVID virus. So the family wasn't going out much, and they were concerned about bringing something home. So they were having all of their groceries and medicines and everything delivered. Well, the delivery driver knew this and made another special delivery to the child's house, and the Ring doorbell caught the delivery woman on camera. Actually, I don't know if it was a man or a girl, so I shouldn't say that. On camera, praying there on the doorstep. So when the homeowner looked back to see who was out there and saw this, they were really touched. So there's goodness going on everywhere. Sometimes we got to look harder for it. But don't be afraid to be the one who smiles. Behind a mask, or it's somebody behind a mask. Be the one that reaches, I was going to say reaches out your hand, but don't do that. You might get whacked. Be the one to smile. Another story. Apparently in the snowboarding world, not my world, but there is an icon called Shaun White. And he's like a really big deal in snowboarding. It's on, I guess, it's on skis. And he was going down a street, and there were kids out in the middle of the street during this pandemic that had set up one of those boards with the round things that you go up and, have to be really good so you don't fall and kill yourself. And he watched them, and he stopped, and he skated for them once, and then he stayed for a while and watched them, and they all knew who he was, and they were just tickled to death that he would take the time to come and skate with them, talk to them, and watch them as they skated. So lots of good going on out there. Here's one that's really close to my home, and Loveland School District here in Ohio, which is probably 20-30 minute drive from where I am right now, where I am recording this very YouTube renovation. The bus drivers, because school got out 3 weeks early, and they didn't get to say goodbye to all the graduating seniors, and they've been driving their school bus for them for the last 4 to 12 years, I guess, depending on how long they lived in the school district. They got to know them, and they missed them, and they wanted to congratulate them on their graduation. So what did they do? It took them about 3 hours, but they parked their school buses in the shape of 2020. Now they tried to do this, and move your bus a little further to the left, to the right. You go straight. And they couldn't really tell. It just kind of looked like a maze on the ground if you were walking through. But one of the teachers got a drone with a camera on it and had the drone take a picture, just mitigated it right above in the middle of all these buses, and just had it slowly go up, taking a picture of all these buses, and you could clearly see it stood out 2020. The kids were really touched, as you can imagine. The picture went viral. If you Google Loveland School bus drivers or 2020, you'll be able to find it and see the picture. It was actually pretty cool. Which is kind of interesting because I said yesterday was my birthday. I was taking my dog for a walk and talked to the neighbors and told him that. And he jokingly said, and I don't know if he got his idea from the bus story or not, jokingly said, I'm going to come down and put Trump signs in the shape of happy birthday in your front yard. Everybody's a comic. Now, so far it hasn't happened. My birthday is over, so what do you know? Okay, now I got a couple animal stories here. So remember, if you're tuning in and you've got a positive story, put your comment down at the bottom. We'd love to hear it. I'd love to know. Even you can email me during the week, deb@odorxit.com, and get your stories out. And if you have OdorXit issues, you can send them there as well. Or info, INFO, @odorxit.com, ODORXIT.com. But you know that if you're here, if you're on YouTube. Okay, so an animal story. It's a turkey. Some things you read in the news. Now, who out there thought that turkeys were for fattening up and having for Thanksgiving? Who thought that was the only reason for them? Okay, so if you are raising your hand, you're not raising your hand, the other person could be a hunter who thinks that they are for their sport, but still for dinner on their table. Well, apparently there is a rescue that was saving a turkey. He was a 60-pound Tom, and he broke his leg. Didn't say how he broke his leg, but he wasn't going to be able to walk on it. He wasn't going to be able to survive. And this was a rescue, so this was not breakfast or dinner, and leftover turkeys. So they creatively made him a wheelchair. Now, what they typically use, I guess, wouldn't really hold him because 60-pound turkey's got a big belly and it wouldn't fit. So they use some sort of springs and rods to make this wheelchair, and then use some sort of a maternity belt to hold his belly on there so that he could walk and get around and go eat and, live a semi-normal life while his leg healed. And apparently it did heal, and he did some therapy, and now the 60-pound turkey is recuperating, and he's living the life at the rescue. Who knew? People have big hearts. So some other things that these rescue people have done to save animals is they built a Lego scooter for, are you ready for this? For a tortoise. So I guess they just kind of commented on what other devices they had created to help heal these animals. Didn't say what was wrong. I'm guessing, maybe one of his legs. So he got on the scooter and some legs could make him go because it had wheels. I don't know. People are creative. And with that being said, we will get out of this virus thing because people are creative. We help each other. We see a need, and we work with people to make sure it's as best outcome as it can be. Now, here's one I thought was I couldn't figure this out. Now, these are just comments at the end of the article that I read. Somebody built a life jacket for a goldfish. Okay, don't they swim? Isn't that maybe a fin broke and he couldn't swim? So this kept him buoyant. Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know. But, people are creative, what I say once again. And wheelchairs, we probably all seen some of these if you're an animal lover. A wheelchair for paraplegic dogs. Now, I've seen them where they have a wheelchair for the back two legs. And, if you got three legs, the dog does pretty well with just three legs. They don't live quite as long because their body isn't balanced as evenly. But the wheelchair for the back two legs, they can has to be strapped on them, but they can move pretty quickly and get around. And I've seen a few of those over time. So, hey, here's another dog story. Tell me something good. I should have had that song all queued up. Tell me something good. Okay, so remember Dorian, the hurricane down in Florida last year, 2019, August, September-ish hurricane season? Well, apparently, a month after the hurricane left, they were still able to find a dog buried in the rubble, alive. They used a drone again that had infrared camera on it, and they could see movement. They could see life under the rubble, and they directed the search teams in there. He moved the rubble and found this dog. He was pretty skinny, pretty thin, but still alive, happy to eat, happy to see people. And I'm not sure who took him home, probably one of the rescuers, but that he was probably his new best friend. So people do amazing things. We will come out of this virus doing amazing things, changing our lives for the better, because that's what we do. We are America, buddy, and that's what we do. So don't give up. Now, this next one, I think France it's done this. So, America can't take credit for this one. Okay, it's really serious. I'm laughing here, but this one's really serious. And if you got a good one, I want to hear it too. So, France has done some testing that there's a certain combination of garlic in this pill that they give to cows, and it reduces the methane in their gas, which creates a safer environment for the rest of us. And, it's going to take 12 years to feed the cows enough of this garlic to make a difference, but then they're going to be able to reduce the methane and the bad gas in the air that damages the ozone by 30%. Who knew garlic was so potent? And that brings me to something else. Hey, these are all good stories. I may be rambling, but these are all, your life is better for these. Our moms and AQM products contain chlorine dioxide. What is chlorine dioxide? It sounds pretty scary, right? It's actually chlorine with extra oxygen molecules added to it. Now, aren't we hearing vitamins and those kind of things with additional oxygen added to it? Our oxygen bleach, those cleaners, those soaps and stuff that are to do a better job, and they do. Chlorine plus oxygen equals chlorine dioxide, which is the same thing. And unfortunately, it's not able to be patented. So there's a lot of things you can't say about it. And, it's really, really cheap compared to, $100 a pill for some of these new things coming out. But it's adding oxygen to something we already have, like adding garlic. And you can take garlic over the counter to improve your life, to help get rid of the radicals, the free radicals in your body that are supposedly floating and causing damage to your cells and end up, I think they're kind of the precursor to cancer. So adding oxygen is a great thing. Adding garlic is a good thing. The cows are going to have bad breath, but their farts won't stink as much. Okay, so I'm running out of positive stories to share this morning. If you have positive stories, I would love to hear it. Next week, we are going to talk OdorXit. We're renovating the mind to your nose. We're going to renovate your nose. Maybe that's what I'll change it. I'll change my title to Renovate Your Nose, Part 1. Will be next week. Out of the mouth of babes. You never know what's coming up. And we're going to talk about fresh smells, a luxury or a necessity. So stay tuned. Again, send me your positive stories. I'd love to talk about those. But we're going to switch next week, and we're going to have Renovation of the Nose by OdorXit. So thank you so much for tuning in. We're happy to have you here. Again, hit subscribe down below so you will be notified. And I want to hear your positive stories. I'm looking around for I'm a year older. That's positive. Every day above the ground is a good day, right? Okay, so thank you so much for tuning in. You have a super day, and make your life smell fresh.